Jeff Bidwell, sports director at WPSD in Paducah, Kentucky, has covered the racers for, well, longer than I have been alive. He is a realtor, father, owner of a flower shop, father, husband, mentor, all of it. I think I covered all my bases. Jeff, you've had a time to digest the game from last night, another chapter in this rivalry. What do you make of it?
It's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing from a basketball fan standpoint, and to just kind of sit back and watch it. I went back and watched the second half this afternoon. It's amazing theater, and we get it every time these two play. And it always feels amped up during the regular season. It's a big game, and then both sides are. This year was different because they got to play twice. But most of the time they're only going to play once in the regular season, and so it always feels special in that way. And then, man, when they play that Saturday night, first Saturday in March, it is always tremendous theater, and last night did not disappoint from that standpoint.
And it seems like every time Belmont beats Murray State, it's a gut punch, but I'm sure it's the other way around too when Belmont loses to Murray State internally. Where does this one rank as far as all-time games that you've seen in OVC championships between these two teams?
Well, Karan Johnson and Taylor Barnett are certainly
Tyler Scanlon's in that list now.
Tyler Scanlon is now the third musketeer there that Murray fans can sort of grit their teeth over forever. There have been some I said last night. I said, when Murray beats Belmont in the OVC championship game, they beat the Bruins. When the Bruins beat the Racers, they take years off their lives with these losses. They have been as painful for the Murray side as you can imagine. And like I said, it's part of the theater and the fact that I really thought last night I thought it was more important almost in a way for Belmont than Murray. For so long, once Belmont came into the OVC. When it was Karan Johnson in 13 and when it was Taylor Barnett in 15, it was like they've got Murray's number. Murray might beat him in the regular season, but they've got their number when it matters most. And for Murray to finally get over the hump in 18 and then to do it again last year, it was like you felt like Belmont was like, now the pendulum had swung to the other side of can we beat Murray when it matters most? And so, from a rivalry standpoint, it was almost kind of what the rivalry needed in a way was to, all right, the counter punch is in, and now you're just kind of waiting for 2021 to see if we can get it again. But that was an all-time game, most definitely. But I still feel like in the end, the Taylor Barnett 3 in 2015 will forever be the all-timer because that I still believe is maybe the greatest Murray State team ever. A team that didn't get to the tournament was beyond disappointing there.
Bidwell, obviously not a victim of recency bias there. We're trying to get a different answer from we've had 4 different coaches in this rival. Casey Alexander, Matt McMahon, Steve Prohm, Rick Byrd. It just seemed, not to compare him to the Lakers and Celtics, but it's like dead even in that series. It's almost like whenever these two teams meet for eternity, we're going to expect these kind of results in these games, are we not?
I really feel like it. And, and I said it last night on the air that this is the rivalry in the Ohio Valley Conference, and I know Murray State and once upon a time it was Murray State and Western Kentucky, and then it was Murray State and Austin Peay forever, and there's still sort of a fabric of the fan base there in Murray that Austin Peay is the most important game, but until Peay's sort of on that B level right now. The A level has 2 teams, and it's 1A and 1B, and they can flip-flop back and forth however they want to do it. But Murray and Belmont are just they're special. They have proven Belmont has held their own beyond since they've come into the conference, and it's great. That rivalries are best when you've got 2 heavyweights swinging back and forth, and Murray has really ultimately dominated PE for a decade, and I think that's taken a lot of wind out of the sails. But they're on another level right now, and there's a lot of talent coming back on both sides, and we have no reason to believe that they're not going to see each other again next year.
Yeah, that's my next question. The league roots for these two teams. They won't say it to meet in the championship, especially with the crowd that Murray State brings, and you might as well do it like the OVC back in the day and have it at the CFSB Center. Do you see a scenario where it's different? I know Austin Peay has Terry Taylor coming back next year, but these rosters are young. I mean, I'll go ahead and pencil it in. I'm going next Saturday or Saturday next March to see these two teams play until you change my mind and prove me wrong.
Yeah, I mean Murray has got everybody coming back. I mean they lose two seniors. Darnell Court, who honestly I thought was their second best player, missed most of the year with a knee injury. His status for next year and whether he comes back for a fifth year is kind of up in the air. But the main core is all back, happy with the recruiting class. Obviously, Belmont's, they're seemingly for eternity just recycling new guys in there. And, whether it was, the Evan Brads and then Dylan Windler. And it's like these guys, you feel like they should be doctors by the time they leave because you're like, my gosh, this guy's been here for like 9 years now, just killing them all the way along.
Yeah.
So it is. ESP's got Terry Taylor. They've got Jordan Adams. It's their supporting cast is kind of a question. I think Murray and Belmont 1 through 8 are just, yes, to your point. Prove me wrong. Those two, it's going to be an upset if they're not playing on Saturday next year.
Yeah, well, it should be another good season of OVC basketball next year. Thanks for all you do for the league this year and what you've done during your time at WPSD, and we thank you for joining us here on WSMV, Jeff.
My pleasure, brother. Have a good night.